All right, Nova. What is your topic? Go ahead and set us up, man.
So reportedly right now, Call of Duty is cracking down on boosting. The report said Call of Duty updates posted on X, and they said ahead of launch of Season 3, we have taken action against all detected accounts that engage in any form of boosting behavior within our competitive environment across ranked play modes for Modern Warfare 3, multiplayer, Call of Duty Warzone. These accounts flagged for such activities will undergo a reset for their account SR progression, serving as an initial measure as we investigate the severity of the misconduct for potential further consequences. So they said, we're going to tax you once right now. And if we find out that you're doing anything else besides this, we're going to come back and potentially hit you with some more offenses. So back in February, Activision banned 6,000 Call of Duty cheaters in just 4 days. In March, they shut down an individual called Interwebs that had been producing cheats since 2009. So
wow.
Yeah, he's been a cheat provider since 2009. So many fans say that they potentially want some type of like anti-cheat fix before they start cracking down on these boosting individuals on the servers. So with all this hacking and stuff going around, it's starting to make it seem like people are afraid to play the game, man, to be honest. So you have Call of Duty, you have Apex, you have so many games being hacked. So I'll start with you first, Parris, before I know you have to go here in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is this enough that they're doing right now to try to crack down on cheating, or is there more that can be done?
I think there's more that can be done. I mean, this is a positive step. Obviously, I'm not trying to take away from what they've already done. But even with that, I mean, you know how it is online. I mean, there's always going to be people looking for an advantage. There's always going to be something that people are going to exploit to try and get the competitive advantage in a game. So maybe even me saying it's not enough is a strong word, but I just want it to be like, we should not just be satisfied with this, is the point that I'm making. There should be even more steps to try and mitigate even more people that are basically gaming the system when they're in there, in obviously in a very popular game like Call of Duty, but no matter what it is in online gaming. Just even beyond that, just a lot of the safety and the trust protocols that we see. Like, I know Xbox is trying to do more about that to mitigate some of the harassment that we also see online. We know that Call of Duty is a cesspool for that kind of stuff as well. So there's work that still needs to be done on that aspect too. But no, great first step, but I do think they could do more.
Okay. Skellington, because I totally agree. But before I go to you, Skell, Black Viking, do you want to read the donation? I see that we just had one come through. And
yeah, Ray. What's up, boy?
Yeah, right. He just said like he know that shit.
I just know Ray.
That's Ray.
He said, "What's up, boy?"
You know what? Ray messy too. He got me caught in a scandal on his show one time back in the day. I was gonna get cussed out. And don't Ray, don't think I don't listen. I know you have that clip. I hear the clip that you play every time, and it was from that episode. I think I don't know.
Oh, that's the homie though, man. He said, "Hey, yo, showing some love."
He called me a stray. See, I know.
Parris said he locked in.
Ray be lurking, boy. I mean, Parris be lurking. That's funny, bro. Oh man. We got Lotus and Spree with a 50 bomb again. Lotus.
Oh my goodness, huge.
Too much love, Lotus. Too much love. Hold on.
Maybe coming through, man.
For the kids.
That was all right.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Thank you, Lotus. Lotus for the kids. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, go on ahead, Nova. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. And chat, if y'all have been experiencing any of these cheats that's going on in any game, man, let's talk about it in the chat, man. Let's see what y'all got going, because I haven't heard about all the games, just these two. So, Scale, what do you think could be done? You think that they're doing enough, or could they be doing more in reference to stopping these cheaters in their tracks?
I'd like to say that they could do more, and I'm sure that they can. Obviously, it's a difficult thing to do, and in my notes I just said the cheaters will be back. It's been a thing we've been dealing with in video games since multiplayer video gaming has been around. To be honest, I still remember Call of Duty Modern Warfare unlimited noob tubes. I don't know if you remember those things flying through the skies, getting bombed. So, I mean, I'm sure they're doing what they can. They just have such a massive player base that it's going to be tough to do it. You said they banned 6,000 within 4 months. I wonder what the total number of cheaters. You said 4 days. I'm sorry. Yeah, I wonder what the total number of cheaters is out there. I can't imagine. And they're only catching some of them. They're probably not going to. There's probably some of them they'll never catch. But yes, this is a good step.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man, because they probably are gonna just take off one hat, put on another, put the cheats back out, you know.
Yeah.
Which kind of sad, man, because as a regular casual player, I don't really be out here, you know, I don't cheat. So it's like I'm just out here to have fun with my friends, you know. And so I remember back in the Halo 2 days, we was getting spawned in the middle of the map and they're shooting with the sniper, the scarab gun from the sniper, you know, like
sniper bullets on the machine guns. It used to be crazy.
Yeah, it used to be insane, man. So it's good to see that they're cracking down on it. I don't know what the final fix would be. I don't think there is, man, because there's new things that's coming out, like with remote code execution, with the Apex stuff, and giving people cheats that's not even on your computer. So that's a scary thing, man. What do you think, Viking?
Listen, the coldest thing I've ever seen. I remember when Apex was first launched. Within the first 6 months, they did some sort of anti-cheat thing for Apex. Maybe it was the first year where they hardware banned you. That was like those forms for those cheats were crying because it's locked to your hardware, your serial number on your GPU or CPU.
Probably ban your MAC address.
Yeah, like it was absolutely crazy. This is just going to be a thing that happens forever. I mean, at least some people are employed to keep on working at it to stop it. You know what I mean? But it ain't never gonna stop. It's one thing after another. This is computers, man. Like if somebody can build it to make it safe, somebody can break it down.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Reverse engineer.
That's right.
And unfortunately, we have those people in the community that are willing to win by any means necessary. You know, that's
by any means.
You want to hear something crazy? I literally must have talked this into existence. Ken Levine is on Spaces right now talking about the future of gaming. Crazy.
Oh, word? That's crazy. Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah. Hey, don't leave here. I'm just pointing it out. It's recorded. Y'all go listen to it later.
That's nuts. But yeah. What's your thoughts, Nova?
Man, I think that it's not going to go anywhere. It's good that they're trying because it's running into a ridiculous amount of cheaters on any game kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth, you know, as a person who's not cheating and having to try to compete with somebody who can literally see you through walls is very demoralizing to say the least. So it'll keep people away from your game. So it's good to see that they're like, hey, instead of letting cheaters destroy our game, we're going to take a stand.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Somebody said, Xena said, will always be a reality, which is sadly because big streamers be doing it, bro, and be getting caught. That's true. It's a shame.
They had it on and boom.
Parris, I know you got to go in about 5-10 minutes. Before you go though, give me your thoughts on Hellblade 2 and the 30 FPS problem.
I might be here longer than 10 minutes in. So here's the thing on this, and I touched on it at the top. I'm not shocked that it's 30 frames on console, and I do blame a lot of that on, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but I think Unreal 5 is part of the problem. Where's the 60 frames per second Unreal 5 game on console right now? Does it exist? I don't think it does. I could be wrong. I don't think it exists. So I think that's part of it. I think it is tough to get 60 frames per second running on Unreal 5 on this current hardware. Could you do it? I'm sure you can, but you're going to have to make a lot of compromises to do so. Clearly, they want Hellblade 2 to be a visual showcase for them. They want you to look at that game running on an Xbox Series X and say, wow, that's what they want. They're not so concerned about the frames per second. They're concerned about when you look at it, is it really pretty? Is it very immersive? Is it that experience? Is it building upon the experience that you got from the first Hellblade? Not to mention, they've been showing this game since 2019. Let's not forget that part. They've been showing this game since 2019, and it always has been a visual stunner. So imagine, now follow me on this now. We know how social media is. Imagine if they did have let's just say they had a performance mode. So there was a 60 frames per second mode for it.
I know where you're going with this.
You already know where I'm going. The 30 frames per second is super pretty, looks great, everything they said it would be. You already know what's going to happen. People are going to fire it up in that performance mode, visual downgrade. See, it's not what they said it is. Xbox failed again. They didn't get this to what it should be. Now, I'm not saying that is the primary reason they did it, but I guarantee you that that's part of the decision. I promise you that's part of the decision. We want to make sure that it is representative of everything that we've been showing over the past 6 years or whatever it's been that we've been displaying this game. Guarantee you that's part of it. Now, going back to the actual 30 frames per second part of it, I'm going to shamelessly plug the Todd Howard interview we did last year, because I specifically asked Todd, why don't you have a performance mode for Starfield? And whether you agree with what he says, disagree, doesn't matter. He said, because he's the creator, he the one making the damn game, he makes the decisions. He said it was a creative decision for them because that was the best way for them to display that game on console. That's what he said. He said parts of the game does actually run higher than 30 frames per second, but we would rather lock it in at 30 to have it consistent. So we have a consistent 30 frames per second. There aren't any glitches, hiccups, anything. Because the same thing that I just said about Hellblade 2 having a performance mode would probably been applied to Starfield if they did that too. Again, I'm not saying that's the primary reason, but I guarantee you that probably factors into it. And the reason I say all that is to say this. I know people love to pull the screenshot of what Aaron Greenberg said, I believe back in 2020, about 60 frames being a standard on the Series X. Mm-hmm. But then you notice what they never followed that up with.
The 4 days later tweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like where he clarified that we are not mandating 60 frames. It is up to the creators on what they want to do with the hardware. That's what he said in the second tweet. And the reason I say bring that up is it's not like Aaron said that in 2020 and he's trying to backtrack it now in 2024. He said it basically in real time. Here's the first tweet. Let me clarify it. Now you know. So this information has technically been out there since 2020. Now, I'm not saying it to make an excuse for Xbox, because I have my own grievances, like I said before, about 4K 60 should be the goddamn standard. I personally think for these consoles, but that's another story. But the reason I'm saying that is if a developer decides we're better off having our game at 30 frames per second with no compromise, then okay. I can't tell someone who is way smarter than me making a game what they should do to satisfy some internet argument. It's ridiculous, because here's the thing. I play a lot of games at 30 frames. Like I played Starfield in 30 frames on the Series X. Now, could I play it on my PC at a higher frame rate? Of course. And I did, but I didn't hop on my Series X and go, ugh. This is a slideshow. This is terrible. I played the game, and I know people don't like to bring this into the console wars, but every damn game you play on the Nintendo Switch is at 30 frames. I don't see nobody complaining about that.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is it comes down to a preference. Would we want 60 frames for Hellblade 2? Of course. But if the developer has decided we're better off having a consistent 30 frames per second with all the bells and whistles enabled to give you a visual and audio showcase for Hellblade 2, because that's what it's going to be. We already saw with the previews, and look, your mileage may vary on a preview, but it sounds like the combat's going to be just fine, because that was another concern as well. If they're giving us what we expect of the game, I am not going to sit here and fuss over 30 frames. You know what I would say? And I know people don't like hearing this. If you're that damn concerned about frame rate, guess what? Go buy a PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if frame rate is your deciding factor on something, and I'm not saying that to be so, I am being a little snarky, but if your deciding factor is I got to play this at a minimum of 60 frames, or I need it even higher at 100 frames or whatever, then you invest the money. Go call. Look, NZXT sponsors me. Go holler at NZXT. They make a fantastic high-end PC. Costs you about $4,000. You can go buy that. They'll ship it right to your house quick. And you can have all the frames and the resolution that your heart desires. And you can play it that way. And I know I'm being a smart ass when I'm saying that, but the truth of the matter is we are currently asking way too much out of these $500 consoles. And that's just the truth. And I get that PlayStation has performed. And we already talked about this, but I get that PlayStation does a lot more performance modes than Xbox does on their first party lineup games. Understandable. Because remember, Redfall was supposed to be 60 frames at launch and they patched it in later. But if the game's fun, game's fun.
That's how I feel about Dragon's Dogma.
And that's not and look, I know I'm being so messy on this podcast, but I just have to get it out. This isn't me coping. This isn't me damage controlling. This is me just being a normal human being and going, if something's fun, something's fun. I'm not going to sit here and argue about frame rate if the game's fun. I'm not. Yeah. Now on that note, because I do want to be fair to this, like I brought up Redfall. The Redfall criticism is 100% valid. That is valid. You want to know why? Because they told you it was 60 frames. Mm-hmm. They told you it was on the damn box that it was 60 frames. So you didn't deliver on something that you told me. So now I do have an expectation for it to be 60 frames, and you didn't deliver on that. And obviously Phil had to apologize for that last year and the whole thing. And they resolved it now. That, to me, that is fair criticism. That is 100% valid. Don't tell me it's going to be 60 frames and then wait until the last minute and go, oh, wait, it's not. No, I wouldn't be happy with that. But at no point did Ninja Theory ever tell anybody that it was going to be 60 frames per second. It never said that. So this is the first time that we're hearing it. And I go, okay, now you could protest and say, I'm not playing that game because it's not what I want it to be. You're the customer. It's your money. You do what you want. Hey, look, I'm playing it. That's all I know, because it looked good to me. Yeah. I'm not just going to sit here and fuss about 30 frames at all. And yes, I will be playing it on the console, and I'm sure I'll probably play it on PC as well, but it's not going to deter me having it at 30 frames per second. And like I said, my timeline is an effing mess, because how dare I bring that up? But all that is noise. And that's kind of the main thing that I've learned. 90%, 99% of this stuff is just noise. It's just people fussing. Like, I know you guys know J-Dub. You know J-Dub, right? Online. Yeah. I tell him all time. I hit him up today because I saw him being messy online. I go, you're a freaking menace, because he's purposely being an agitator, and he knows it. I tell him this all the time. You don't even mean half the shit that you say. You just say it because you know it's going to ruffle a bunch of feathers, and you get to sit back and laugh about it. That's all that is. And that's why I tell people, when you see most of this stuff online, they ain't being serious. They're just like, oh, wait, Xbox is doing something that isn't doing something that PlayStation is doing. Oh, time to fire it up. Yeah. We got to talk about it. Or vice versa. If Xbox is doing something that PlayStation isn't doing, it's the same thing. It goes both ways, in my personal opinion. It's just people being online, being messy, being noisy, being loud over nonsense. Because at the end of the day, it's your money. Ain't nobody telling me how to spend my money except my wife. She's the only person who can tell me that. But
y'all money at that point.
But and it kind of brings full circle, like I was telling you before, about just advice about getting out, going to events. the one thing that I always laugh about is no one's doing this face to face. No one's doing this in person.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
It's not all this Twitter nonsense does not happen in person. Like in story time. I know I'm old. I always got stories, but I remember there was a guy, maybe this was like 2010 or something, right? Was constantly giving me shit online about this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. We go to E3. He's at E3. What do you think he did? He walked up to him, and I'll never forget this. He was like, "Hey, I just want to shake your hand." And I looked at him. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "All the crazy stuff that you say to me online, now you want to shake my hand?" And what did he say? And what did they always say? "Oh, that's just jokes, man. I'm just having fun." That's what I'm telling you. Don't stay out of the mud, because none of this stuff is serious. None of it.
Yep. I've been better, Parris. Calm down.
I know. Hey, I'm